Hello, this is Shelby on Shelby's Edge. How are you guys doing today? Today what I'm going to be talking about is gear setup and the Athames. Basically for those of you that doesn't understand exactly how it works and how the jewel setup works on that and that kind of thing. And first, depending on what level, depends on how good of Athame you can get. Like on this one, what I want to point out is, you can get 337 life. That's good. When I was really new to this game, all I cared about was getting life and mana, and that's actually not what you really want to look for. The main thing is you want to see how much damage it's going to give you, or pip chance, or accuracy, depending on what your character stats are. And what kind of character you have depends on what you're going to want your stats to be too. For example, like if you are, a fire or storm, you're going to want, damage and maybe some crit and pierce, those kind of things, because those are wizards that hit. With others that are support, you might want the more, the 3% outgoing or the incoming, or, that kind of thing. First of all, on this one here, the Enchanter's Dirk of Lightning, this one isn't a bad one for lower levels. You have, a tier socket and 2 circle sockets, which is good, and you got 10% damage. For a level 106, there's so many that are better, so that one isn't the best. Actually, the Blackwater's Dirk of Havoc that I have, already equipped is a lot better, you can see, and it's only a level 100, because you have the damage, and that's universal, and the universal, accuracy, 12% pip chance, and then you also have the tier and 2 circles. In a perfect world, what I want in a dagger is I want the circles, and I want, I'd rather have 2 circles and a triangle socket more than anything, but you don't always get that. I'm going to look in here at the enchanted ones we're going to look at this dagger just so I can kind of explain how the jewel setup works. Of course, you have like this socket's locked, so to unlock it, I would have to either use crowns, or if I had the artisan's socket wrench, I could use that. I'm not going to use that right now because I don't plan to use this one. My other one equipped is better. But first of all, the tier jewels, they are mainly for life and mana. And of course, you get the pet mana here. I think this is very important. Like if you have, a setup just for, the extra mana when you're gardening and training pets and stuff like that, that's a good jewel there. The rest of them is, oh, and there's a fishing luck one too, I forgot about that. But most of them are the life and, the mana and that kind of thing. These are good for different gear sets, and then, the life and mana depending on what you're looking for. That's basically what the tier jewels will have. Now, the circle jewels are my main favorite, that one and the triangle, because the circle jewels will give you certain things. It'll give you either damage, which I don't tend to use the damage as much because it'll be in the second bracket of stats. What you really want is the things in the first bracket of stats, and I'll show you in a little bit what I'm actually talking about on that. Now, they did change the crit, because they used to have 2 brackets for crit and they have 1 now. So you got the damage and the crit. I usually will use the crit jewel, and not so much the damage. I know some people still do. It doesn't count for as much since it's in the second bracket for a jewel. Now, this is the Pierce. The Pierce is one that I tend to, especially on the higher levels, I tend to use. The pierce isn't as important in the lower levels, but you know, it does help. In the lower levels, I'd go more for crit personally because it's easier. You don't need as much overall percent of crit to have a higher percentage ranking. Okay, for the triangles, the reason why I like these is they will give you things like the accuracy, which is good. They'll give you important cards. Like this one, some people like the magnify. This one I don't really use. But like this jewel card, I do like this, especially for like lower levels and stuff. Or I might have an Athame for like if I'm helping somebody on a lower level. Like on this, you know, you'll see that I have, you know, I chose the life and the 2 pierce. So higher levels up you go, the more important the pierce is. Like this one for the triangle, I have the accuracy. That is very helpful, especially at the lower levels. Now this one, sometimes I'll change it to this one if I'm wanting that card. You know, having a balance blade, and I believe, yeah, this gives me 2 cards. That can be very, very helpful. What I was talking about the overall stats, like, you have a bracket number 1 here. This is the main important bracket, and I have 108 damage. And, with the jewels, the damage goes in this bracket down here. It still counts towards your damage, but it doesn't count for as much. It's only like a percentage of that, of the top bracket, and I don't feel like it's beneficial enough. The same with the resistance. It's the same way. Now the accuracy, there's only 1 bracket for that. That's why I use the jewels for that. And the crit rating, 1 bracket. The block rating, armor piercing, and my armor piercing's pretty decent on this character, depending on what you're going for, but that is pretty decent. Well, this is Shelby on Shelby's Edge. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope that this helps some of you guys out there to understand you know, a little bit on how to get really good stats, because the better your character stats are, the, you know, stronger your hits are going to be, the easier it is for you to kill the enemy and to quest, and even for, well, anybody that does PvP knows it's very important for PvP also. Well, thank you for watching this video. Leave a like if you like this video. Please leave a comment to let me know what you guys think, and I will see you next video.